problem. That's guy, you ready? Okay.
Put your belt on. Our boys.
That's got.
Look at those boys.
Say bye to mom and dad.
Bye-bye. Love you. Bye.
This is my brother Scott. He seems just like any other 21-year-old. He goes to school, he has a paying job, he likes to browse the web or go for a nice bike ride. And like most young adults, he likes getting into trouble.
You knock it off, or I'll take your Cheetos away. Look at him.
Is he giving it to the dog?
Yeah.
Thinks it's hilarious.
Do you think that Scott is manipulative at all?
Is that a rhetorical question? Scott is one of the most manipulative people I've ever met. He's persistent as hell, and unless he gets his way, he's going to keep trying until he does.
And when he wants something, he gets it. He's determined. Like when he wants his popcorn, he comes downstairs and he says, "Mom, I want popcorn." And if she doesn't do it right away, he'll keep on insisting and bugging her for it.
Do you want a soda?
Similar?
Okay. I think we have a soda in here.
He's also kind of selfish, though. You know, he doesn't really care about what your needs or interests are. It's only about his needs and interests.
But that isn't his fault. Scott suffers from severe autism, a developmental disorder that is growing at an alarming rate. 1 in 150 children will be diagnosed this year alone. To put it simply, autism gives Scott the mental and social capabilities of a child. Although he can speak in short sentences, he chooses to mostly communicate in his own tongue.
It's a good orzo salad.
Hey, Scott, you want to shave your beard? Shave it off? You want to shave? Say something. Don't go, just go. Say, I love Max.
I know, man.
Oh, look at that. That was pretty good.
There. Oh, you don't want to shave?
I have with you about what?
Oh, is that right?
No, do
Here we go. Ready? Hot.
Dad shaves him once a week and does a really nice clean shave and a trimming of his beard. And in the early years, Scott really didn't like it and was very combative about the shaving, but Dad's got it to a point where Scott trusts him so much. It's really beautiful.
What?
You're doing such a good job, Scott. Good job.
It was Dad's choice to do the beard. Scott's always had a clean-shaven face, and he uses an electric shaver. So the beard is a totally new thing to him, but it's an update from his dad.
Oh, you're so handsome. You look good now. Yeah. Thank you.
He loves it. He always comes to me and looks at me and shows it off and makes me kiss him, and it's really cute.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. You want to give Ginger her treat? Scotty, you want to give her dingo?
I don't think he's interested.
Well, let's just say that the dynamic changed a lot with Scott because he required so much attention and so much time. Not that you were easy, but you know, if we broke it up into periods, 90% of the time was spent towards trying to keep Scott in line, and 10% of it was trying to keep you in line.
Maybe that's why I got so screwed up.
That's why you are so screwed up.
In the early years, Scott took up most of my parents' attention because of his disruptive and often violent behavior. Although since he's calmed down significantly, the new issue is his recently developed epilepsy, which strikes Scott in the form of frequent grand mal seizures that threaten to undo years of therapy in the form of brain damage.
Well, I was actually there to witness his first seizure on the way back from Tahoe. It was in the back seat, and I was back there with him when he started having a seizure. And it was really hard to watch.
You know, I've never experienced watching somebody have a seizure, and frankly, I thought he was dying at first. You know, it was just a really frightening experience. And it's not something that you ever get used to because you don't want to see your child in pain, and it seems when somebody's having a seizure that they're in a lot of pain even though they don't remember it afterwards. The good news is that, you know, we've experimented with a wide variety of prescription cocktails for him to cut back on his seizures, and knock on wood, he hasn't had one in about 90 days now, which is tremendous. He's a lot more independent, a lot more confident, a lot more sure of himself, and I'm sure, you know, people who are around him to a large extent don't even realize he's autistic because he acts socially appropriate for the first time in his life. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that he feels good about himself, and also he's matured a lot, just like any other kid that's 20, 21 years old.
He's a lot more social. Like when people come over to the house, he actually looks them in the eye and says hi or bye or gives them a hug. And he doesn't throw as many tantrums anymore, and he's not as physical.
Is kinder, he's calmer, he's happier. I think this is the best time of his life.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you see that in him when you see him when he's home?
Yeah, you know, I see that Scott really, you know, his personality has really toned down from when he was younger. He still, of course, has his quirks, and he will always be Scott, but I think that, like you said, I think that he's really grown up to be an adult. However, in what seems to be a recurring theme in my family, fate balances, and with one problem on its way to a solution, another obstacle would rear its head.
I had my first mammogram, and they asked me to come in for another mammogram. And I asked, was there a concern? And she said the picture was not clear. So then I went in for a biopsy, and it turned out the next day my doctor called me and said it was ductal carcinoma.
So when she got the phone call, she started crying, and I heard her from upstairs, and she said, no, no, no. She kept denying it. And so I came downstairs, and it was just a really sad moment because when you get bad news like that, you think of the bad outcome of it.
Death.
I never thought that it would happen to our family. I mean, just because I assumed it wouldn't, because we have so much more happening with Scott and with everything going on right now, and how Uncle Bill had a stroke, and people in our family are having a lot of health issues. So I thought, you know, that's not going to happen to us. Mom's really healthy. But I never thought that it would just be out of the blue or random.
We just looked at each other and said, oh my God, here we go again. You know, another big challenge that we have to overcome in our lifetime. But, you know, we have a pretty good team and a good union, and we've been through a lot together. And, you know, once the initial shock of what was going on hit us, we kind of rolled up our sleeves like we usually do, and we'll figure out a way to get through this.
Have a positive attitude and hold everybody through this. It's not just all about me, it's about what everybody's going through. Everybody feels scared.
Hey, Scott. Do you think Scott understands that Mom has breast cancer?
I don't think he understands it at all. First of all, he doesn't understand what breast cancer is, and two, he doesn't really understand other people being sick other than if you're not your usual personality, he'll come and try and cheer you up a little bit. But no, I don't think he really grasps that.
You know, I really don't think he does, because he hasn't really been around her when she was crying or like when she got the news or anything, and even then he wouldn't understand what it was, but he would understand that something was wrong.
Yeah. And that's a blessing.
Scott, do you know that Mom is sick?
All night. He do. Oh, he done come away. That don't be.
I don't think I'll ever be able to understand what Scott said to me, but the fact that he spoke so plainly to me, the fact he responded and, for honestly the first time in our lives, connected as two adults would, it gave me comfort I cannot describe. It was as if he was telling me that everything was going to be okay, that Mom was going to make it through this, that we were going to make it through this. And you know what? We are.